Now it's time to start a discussion about inheritance. So what is inheritance? Inheritance basically means creating a class using another class. You know, you may be wondering, why is this useful? This is useful, let's say that you want to create a class B, which is slightly different from a class A. And let's say that the class A has a lot of fields and functions which are particular to that class A, because it's representing something. And instead of creating a class B and adding all the fields and functions and methods that the class A has, you can inherit all of that, and on top of that, you can add new functions and new fields which are specific to the class B, but they are not specific to the class A. So this is what inheritance is. Therefore, let's go down here. And as you can see here, I deleted the car class because I created the car class inside this file. So I type class car, and it's gonna have a few fields: private, string, name, private, string, model, private, string, color, and private int doors. Now let's generate a constructor. I'm not going to generate getters and setters because we're not going to use them. So let's generate a constructor for all the fields. Now down here, let's create, but let's add two functions here. Let's say not fun. Let's type public void move, and it's gonna say SOUT. It's gonna say the vehicle. Let's put here plus this dot name is moving. And now I'm going to create another function, public void stop. It's not going to take any parameters. It's not going to define any parameter, and it's going to say SOUT the vehicle has, let's put here vehicle plus the name, this dot name, the vehicle has stopped. Now let's create another class called plane. So I'm going to type here class plane, and type here private string name, private string model, private string color, private int doors, and private int engines, because the plane has more than one engine. Let's generate the constructor. So let's go to code, generate constructor for all the fields, and let's copy those two methods that we have here, and let's define for the plane too, for the plane also. Now what we have now is first is that we have code repetition. So we have both classes. We have the function move and the function stop, and we also have fields which are common to those to the classes. Both classes have a name, both classes have a color, both classes have a model. And it doesn't make sense to put all of this code inside of each class. It makes sense to create another class called, let's type here class, and this could be gonna be called vehicle, which is gonna represent a generic vehicle. This is what it's gonna represent. And here I'm gonna define some fields which are common to all the vehicles. So I'm gonna type here private first name. All the vehicles have a name, so private string name, and let's say private string color. So those are fields which are common to all of the vehicles, which are common to the car, and also are common to a plane. So let's generate a constructor for our vehicle. So let's generate constructor And all the vehicles are gonna move. So they are gonna move in specific ways, but you know that all vehicles are gonna move. So you can put here the move and stuff method. And what I can do now here is I can delete those. So I can delete those. I can delete those here also. And now what I can do, I can type here extends. So to inherit from a class, we type the extends keyword and you type here vehicle. So you put vehicle, and now as you can see we have an underline because it's expecting to pass values to the constructor of the class from which we are inheriting. So it's expected to pass some values here. And because the name and the color are defined as fields inside the vehicle class, we're gonna delete them from our, so the name and the color is gonna be deleted from our class because they are gonna be used by the super class. So I'm gonna delete that. We're gonna name and so I'm gonna type here super, and now I'm gonna call the constructor of this class from which we are inheriting, and we're gonna pass the name and the color. So look now how small our class has become because we're inheriting all of that. And you can do the same thing to the plane class. We can inherit from the vehicle, extends vehicle, and again it's expecting some values too. So let's delete the name because all vehicles have a name and all vehicles have a color, and let's just let the model and doors and engines, because not all vehicles have doors, not all vehicles have engines, but a plane has the doors and a model and engines. Now let's delete those from here. Let's delete from here. So super means calling the constructor from the parent class from which we are inheriting, from the super class if you want. So I'm gonna pass to the super class the name, which is passed here as a parameter, and the color, as you can see. Put semicolon. Now look at this code, how beautiful it is. So we inherited the state and functionality which a vehicle has, and we inherited that in our car vehicle in our plane vehicle. And now what I can do up here, I can go up here and I can type car. Let's call it car. It's gonna be equal to new car. And now we're gonna expect some values. First, it's gonna be the name, again Tesla. And let's put for the model S plate. And for the color, let's say red. And for the doors, let's put 4. Let's create another class, and now let's create a plane class. So plane equals new to create a new instance, plane. And now I'm gonna pass some values here. Let's say Boeing. And for the model, I don't know what model. Okay, I'm gonna type here simply model. And there's gonna be, let's say, white and let's say white and blue. And for the doors, let's put I don't know, 9, and the number of engines, let's say 4. I don't know if this is the correct number, but I'm just passing some values. Now if you go down here and you type car dot, look what we have. We have the function move and stop. So we can call the function move and stop even though they are not declared inside the car class, but because they are declared inside the super class, we can use them inside our own class. And we can do the same thing for plane. I can type here plane. So let's actually call them. So car dot let's pass move first, car dot stop, and let's say plane dot move and plane dot stop. So now if you run this, we get the vehicle Tesla is moving, then the vehicle Tesla has stopped. So as you can see, it's using the functions defined in the parent class, in the class vehicle, and it's saying the vehicle Tesla is moving and the vehicle Tesla has stopped. And then it says the vehicle Boeing is moving and the vehicle Boeing has stopped. Now what we can do is that we can override those functions. So we can override those functions inside our let's say like I want to override the move function inside the plane class because the plane is moving in a specific way. What I can type here, let's press Ctrl O, and I can, as you can see, override move and stop. So let's override the move, and super.move means call the super method from the class from which we are inheriting. And I'm gonna add here a SOUT, which is gonna say moving by flying. So what we did here is we took the generic behavior which a vehicle has, which is simply moving, and we added some new functionality, some new behavior which is particular to a plane, because the plane is moving by flying. So now if you run this, look what you're gonna see in the output. We have the vehicle Tesla is moving, the vehicle Tesla has stopped, then we get moving by flying, so we get this call, and then it's using super.move, so it's calling the function from the parent class, from the class from which we are inheriting. And as you can see, we have this override here, so we overriding that behavior, and on top of the moving behavior that the generic class provides, we add some new behavior. And in a practical case, imagine that you have a view in Android and you want to build, let's say, a round button. You can inherit all the functions and fields and all that logic which makes a view to appear on the screen, and you can add some new lines of code, some new logic, some new fields, some new behavior, and some new methods, which are gonna take that view, and on top of that view is gonna change it in a particular way to make it a button. So this is the power of inheritance, and is very, very, very used in Android, particularly in Android programming. So now I'm gonna end this video and see you in the next video.